Okay. Hello. So this tutorial is going to go over this mixer right here. This is a very important aspect to any production software, in this case FL Studio. Other softwares, all of them incorporate a mixer somehow, but how they use it is a little bit different. The mixer is supposed to replicate a real mixer, piece of hardware with volume. So you have all these tracks. You have the master track all the way to the left, and then you have these individual tracks, track 1, 2, 3, and it goes on for a long time, up to 100. So you have 100 tracks in here. Now all these tracks are sending information basically. So as you click them, you see this little arrow here go down on every single one. That basically says this is being sent, and then whatever's lit up is being sent to that. So for example, this one is being sent here. If you want to change that, you can take track 1 off the master. So now track 1 is not going to the master, or track 5. Once I take track 5 off, the vocals will stop. You'll stop hearing my audio because this is no longer going to the master. See, so you lost my voice because the vocal track on track 5, where the microphone's coming in, got cut off. So that's what you can do. But just make sure that they're all going to the master. So when you make your song, the master's picking them up. Now, the next thing you want to understand are these FX. So underneath those arrows are FX. That basically means that track has effects on it. For example, this vocal track has a compressor. So, but the other ones don't. They're just blank. If I added something, say an EQ, a fruity parametric EQ 2, which is a decent equalizer, now you'll see that the effects is lit up. So track 1 now has an effect. Okay, but before we get into that, I want to show you this input, which is up here to the top right when you're looking at the screen, this input and the output. Okay, this is very important if you have an external audio interface, or if you have an external mixer, or any kind of hardware that you want to have come into FL Studio. So this is where you want to select your interface. Whatever track that you want to record on, say you have an external guitar, or you have an external vocal, or you have an external drum set, or an external microphone recording anything, you can select what track you want to put that input on. So for example, I'm going to do 10. Okay, so on track 10, I'm going to input something from the M box down here, which is my audio interface. Don't look at all this. I have Soundflower because I'm using it as a way to route audio into OBS, which is the video editing software that I'm making the video on. And for some reason, it gave me a 64-channel audio capture device that kind of captures. So it's just like a nuisance. This is 64 of them, but I have to have it so I can route audio. So you want to choose like channel 1, okay? And channel 1, I think, is connected to my piano over here. So you should hear, yeah, see? Now this piano I have, this is an audio piano. It's not it does do MIDI, but it also does audio. So see how that's coming in as a audio signal. So this, I'm routing it in through the input on MBox Pro channel 0, because that's where it is on the interface. I changed it, and now it won't work. If I change it to channel 1, you'll have a double vocal track, because that's where my microphone is inputted on the interface. So you'll have 2 microphones now. See, this one's lower because I don't have a compressor. This one's louder because it has a compressor on it, and compressors boost the sound, mostly for vocals. So you want to use compressors on vocals, but I'm going to put it back to the piano. So now there's a piano, all right, and that's on track 10, okay? So that's important. Now these individual tracks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up, should not have any outputs, okay? The output should only be on the master track. So as you see here, the master track has an output going to multi-output device, which is sending the output of FL Studio through Soundflower to both the video editing software, and it's setting it out to my audio interface, which is running the speakers. Okay, so if I just had Soundflower here, if I just have Soundflower 2-channel, you'll get the audio in the video editing software, but I won't be able to hear anything on my speakers. So I need to have it going both to the video editing software and to the audio interface, which is then going to the speakers. So I have to create a multi-output device. I have a video on how to make that. If you look up how to channel or connect audio from Ableton and FL Studio into OBS, so you can look that up or go to my channel and find that video. So that's the output, and the output is only coming from your master track. Okay, all these other tracks don't have an output. They do have an input though. For example, the recording has MBox channel 1, and this piano is coming in on channel 0. Okay. Now the master track does not have an input. Okay. All of the information and audio, like all of the audio information, is going into the master through these arrows that I showed you earlier down here. Okay. So that's important. Now you can add any kind of effect. So if I come into this number 10 and I do a quick recording, okay. CNN breaking news. Okay, I don't know what that was. Hopefully it wasn't bad. But so there's a little quick recording. See how it's an audio file? It's not MIDI. It's coming in as an audio file. So that's there. Now you can add, it says recording, but you could rename it to piano. So there's the piano, and as you can see, it's loaded as an external audio recording. Now you can add effects to this piano that are only going to affect this piano, like an equalizer. So there's an equalizer now on the piano, and as you, that's weird. Oh, I know why. It's coming in, so it's set a new, that's kind of strange, but it's set a new thing, so you have to link this one. So this is this audio sample or audio file, so you have to link that one. So that one I'm going to put an equalizer on now, and you'll see the equalizer, right? You'll see the equalizers here, so you can edit the frequencies. Okay. This is only the recording, so if I want to record again, I have to record on that one. But if I want to edit the sound after it's recorded, it becomes a separate like object or like thing in the playlist. So there are a bunch of plugins. These are called plugins over here. You could download them online. There are some free ones. Some of them are you have to pay for. Some of them come stock with FL Studio, like the equalizer. Basically, everything that says Fruity will come with Fruity Loops. Okay, so Fruity Flanger, Fruity Flanges, Fruity Parametric EQ, the reverbs, all of that. So now there's a little bit of reverb added to it. You can hear it if you listen. A little bit of echo. You can edit that, so you can come in and make the echo louder. See? So the echo is, there's a little bit of reverb that's adding on afterward. So you can turn these on and off with the light. You can have the volume, so you know it can be kind of it's on, but it's kind of quiet, and it's all the way up. And you could add as many of these as you want to a specific track in the mixer. Okay, so you basically want to have a bunch of tracks in this mixer. When you're building a song, I'll show you an example of something I'm working on. So here's a song that I'm working on. You're gonna lose audio probably as I switch over for a minute, but I'll fix it real quick. There you go. Okay, now it should be working. You should have, see, so what I did was I did the input for the M box here to get the audio interface to come in, and then the output now, I had to switch my output on the master to come to the multi-output device. But I want a compressor on this to make the volume good. So now, see the volume, the decibel level of that's going up with the compressor. Okay. So, as you can see here, I have a ton of things loaded in. Not too many, but a bit. This is kind of a new song, but it's not too crazy. So, this is like kind of a song I'm working on. And when I play it, you'll see, notice how some of these tracks are playing. So, this Rhodes piano, the Neo Retro, and probably a kick on this one are playing. So, you have individual. So you put your individual sounds or instruments or synths or anything onto each of these tracks individually. So then you're able to mix the music. If one thing is too loud, you can bring the volume down. If you want to add a little bit of reverb or EQ to a specific instrument, you can do that here. If the frequencies are too high on a certain synth, you can bring the frequencies down using this EQ. Okay. And this is where you basically like mix your song. Like this is where you mix the individual parts of your song together into the whole song on aggregate. So you take the individual instruments and you just mix them in together with the whole song to make the levels all blend together and everything. So that's called the mixing process. And it's really important that you have a good mix. Once you have a good mix, you can move on to a mastering phase. And the mastering phase basically is going to raise the volume. It's going to make it sound clear, and it's going to really give the song its final polish before you release your track. So all of the mixing is done here in the mixer. It's a very important, you should spend most of your time creating the song, being creative, recording stuff, but when it comes to mixing, you should spend a considerable amount of time in this mixer, making sure all the sounds blend together to make a piece of music good and nothing pokes out. So if like your hi-hats are just too sharp and they're coming through and you can hear them, they're a little bit too loud, you can bring them down here in this mixer, or you can add a little bit of EQ to kind of like blanket them down so everything kind of fits within, so your whole mix is even. So you do that here in the mixer, and yeah, peace out.